Shaunie's wild. It's your girl, Shaunie B. And if you're cool, you got to cool. Oh, yeah.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Shaunie B. And if you're cool with me, fool with me, you're locked into another live session of Shaunie's World. Today is the 27th of October. We're live in the building, a different time. Normally I go at 4, but today I'll be going from 3 to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. I do use this show, this platform to extend my knowledge and share this platform with my friends that definitely support my brand and then educate. That's what this is all about. So we're going to have a few people on the show today that is going to help open up this topic, which is understanding sexual orientation and gender identity. So my first guest, go ahead and introduce yourself. That'll be you.
Me? Yeah. My bad. I am Chris.
What's happening, Chris?
What's going on?
Thank you for blessing the platform.
Amen.
To the right is
the Prince Devin Cartier.
Come on back. Y'all remember him last time. That's my actor right there. And then we'll have another guest coming in, and I'll let them introduce themselves when they get here. The number, if you guys are interested in calling in, is 203-802-5694. Again, the topic is understanding sexual orientation and gender identity. Now, my disclaimer, because I know a lot of people may not agree with this show. That's perfectly fine. We're here to learn, educate, and I'm not even going to mind being corrected because, again, growing up, I saw things from one side. I never had the experiences to learn from the other side. So to you guys, if I say something that's out of order, out of character, please correct me, educate me so I can understand, you know, the lifestyle that you guys are living. Cool?
Cool.
All right. So, K Boogie, can you roll my music? Because they know that this is coming up. They know that we're going to get in their business. And this is just a game that we're going to play. It's going to be real easy, guys. It's not even going to be hard. You're going to definitely love this one. All right, so this is the game. Tell us a little bit more about you. And guess what? You're going to win absolutely nothing at all. The questions are really easy, though, so don't sweat. I didn't want you guys to be like, oh, man, I didn't study. So, K Boogie, you think they ready for this? Okay. All right, you could kill the beat. Let's get into their business a little bit. Do you prefer buffet or casual dining or fast food? Chris?
Casual dining.
Okay. Any restaurant of choice?
Not necessarily. I can generally eat just about anywhere. I'm a barbecue connoisseur, though.
Okay. BBQ.
Yes, sir.
Barbecue. All right, LaPrince, buffet, casual dining, or fast food?
I prefer casual dining.
Okay, any restaurant of choice?
Ruth Chris.
Ooh, fancy. Ooh, fast food or casual dining? I'm gonna do casual dining as well. I'm more of like a Texas Roadhouse. I like a steak with 2 sides, mainly a starch. So do you like spades? You know, we beat you that time. Spades or dominoes?
I'm a spades player, and nah, y'all only beat us that once. It's okay.
All it takes is one time. LaPrince, spades or dominoes?
I can't play either.
What?
I never learned.
We're going to teach him how
You
to
know
play.
what? We're going to teach you how to play. We're going to give you the verbiage and everything to slap the cards, pick the cards up, and embarrass people. That's what we're going to do. I like both, but if it was on a more competitive level, I would play spades. Dominoes, you got to keep counting, and I don't be feeling like counting. Now, are you the type of person to try on your clothes, then buy it, or just take the risk of buying the clothes and then having to take it back?
I'm extremely impatient, so I want to buy the clothes, and then I want to go home and change. I don't like having to do it while I'm there. I would much rather, I'll go to the mall next week.
This is my size. I'm finna roll.
Yeah.
Okay. LaPrince, buy it and say, dang, if it's too small, I'm gonna take it back, or try it on?
No, if it's too small, I'll buy it. But if it's too small, then I'll give it to somebody, or I'll try not to eat for a couple. Well, I'll eat every day, but I'll try not to eat as much cheesecake or whatever.
So you can slide in.
So I can slide in.
Okay, let me see.
Put a little baby oil on it.
I'm like you, Chris. I'm more impatient now than anything, and to take all them clothes off and then still have to be in that room and then have to come back out and size up. I just normally just go up a size and then make it work. I ain't got time. Matter of fact, shout out to China. That's where I get half of my stuff from now. Do you like to sleep on your back or your stomach or your side? You get 3 options.
I like to sleep on my stomach. However, I do have a bit of a bad back, so I have to sleep on that back just to make sure, I can fall asleep.
Okay. The Prince?
Lately, it's been on my back.
Okay. I start out on my side. I end up on my stomach. But I cannot sleep on my back. For some odd reason, I stop breathing every time. It's just weird. I don't know why I can never sleep on my back. But the best comfortable sleep is always going to be on my stomach. Yeah. Stomach be cramping in the morning. You trying to breathe. You be like, ooh, this hurt. Ooh.
Arm just be still.
Yeah, face be all froze. That's why my lash on the one side always be crunched in because I sleep on my face. Do you prefer a mixed drink or a shot?
I do not drink.
Whoa, good. So that's just a cranberry on the rocks for you.
Please and thank you.
The Prince, are you mixed drinks or shots?
I don't drink either.
That's why they looking good. You know what I'm saying? I don't drink much. I'll say that. But shots I can't do. I can't consume a lot of alcohol at one time. My throat's a little. Don't run with that. Don't run with that. I'm talking about drinks. Would you prefer a hangnail versus a paper cut?
Oh, hangnail every day.
Every day?
Yes. Paper cuts, like as soon as you move, it's like fire in your finger.
The Prince, paper cut or hangnail? What could you deal with more?
Probably a paper cut.
Paper cut?
'Cause I have a high tolerance for pain.
Godly. Let me see. The only reason why I really don't want either of the two. The hangnail, it can always get infected and then just had a little bubble on the side of your finger.
No.
You ain't never seen nobody with an infected hangnail? Yeah, they get green and blue.
That's a staph infection.
That's a staph. Yeah, it turned to a staph. That paper cut though, you right, because as soon as that water hit it, you don't see it, but you damn sure feel it.
Sure sting.
Yeah, no, never come. Let me take the hangnail for 100, please, because I can at least put up, I can just clip that off, put some Neosporin on it, and it'll be all right. That paper cut, ooh, it can. Now, are you the time? This is a good question for you guys, so I can see what the answer is. Are you on time or fashionably late?
To be honest,
yes.
I was on time today, but generally I'm late.
Why?
I tend to think I can fit a lot of things into a small time frame.
The overscheduler.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen at all.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank
for
you. I
today.
appreciate it.
Yes, came in at the same time. I was right behind her. The Prince, on time or fashionably late?
I'm on time. That is like a huge pet peeve of mine.
Right.
Because you can't do certain things, and where I'm going, you're gonna have to manage time.
Hello. I'll tell you, La Prince said it started at 2:30. We're gonna do sound check right. They gonna be there at 2:30. I'm like, yes, La Prince is on it. I'm definitely with you. I have to be before time. Forget on time. Like I have to be before time. On time, you're tardy. But that's just me. It's just I have to be there. Fashionably late, no. If in the instance where it's something out of my control, you'll know on time that I'm gonna be a little bit late. But I just won't not show up and then make you say, oh, she coming. No, you'll never question where I am. You know I'm coming. So I appreciate you guys for popping on time. K Boogie, where's the shade? What's the shade?
I'll tell you, you got to be on time with me.
Okay, so you good.
I'm the type of person, when I'm going somewhere, I would sit outside. I could be an hour early.
Right.
Because I might have tested, if I ain't never been here before and I know the long distance, I might try the day before to make sure I can't stand
you really
that's that preparation.
Yeah, I had a lot of conferences with executives and I hate to be the last one walking in.
I know, that's always embarrassing.
So I developed that.
Okay, because y'all be on Kenny. I'll be like, hey, I'll be there. I be letting them know I'll be there. I might be 1 minute late from the be there time, but I'll be before time. So do you prefer an app for whatever website that you want to go to, or do you just prefer to go to the website? So would you like to go to like Bank of America through your app, or would you like to go to Bank of America website?
I mean, it kind of depends on what I'm doing, but I mean, the way of life nowadays is apps. And nobody really uses like Chrome or what is it on iPhone?
Safari, Internet Explorer.
Yeah, nobody really uses those anymore.
So, okay, that's cool. LaPrince, are you more app ready or are you more website driven?
I'm starting to drift over into the apps. I'm still a little old school, so I'm still trying to learn
We got
a
you.
lot of stuff. So
We got you. We're going to teach you spades. We're going to teach you dominoes. And we're going to give you some app ability. Yes. We're going to get you in there. So for me, certain things I want to go through the website on, but it's very rare that I'm on my computer. And some of these phones aren't capable to open up the website. So they are forcing me to go more app-wise, but shortcuts. But I'm running out of space on my phone. So apps, I can't get an app for every person I owe. So I got to figure this all the way out. I'm trying to find somebody who can make a death certificate, but that's neither here nor there because I'm tired of paying these bills.
You just got to have somebody notarize it, that's all.
Okay, I'm going to talk to you after the show. Gotcha. People be watching. All right, so that's the game. That's y'all, it wasn't hard, was it?
No.
See, y'all thought I was going to bust y'all heads open. I wasn't going to do that. So we have another guest in the building. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? My name is Devin.
Hey, Devin. Welcome. So we just played the game, but don't worry. I'm not going to reverse it for you. I'm just going to go ahead and just get right on into the discussion, which is the topic, understanding sexual orientation and gender identity. So, Chris, what do you identify as?
I identify as lesbian.
You was like you knew I was about to ask you that. You came right on in.
Ready for it.
All right, there you go. LaPrince?
bye.
Bisexual, okay. Devin?
I identify as male, transgender male.
Okay. Again, thank you guys for coming on the show. This is something that I wanted to do personally because I want to understand the terminology. I want to know how to greet, how to speak. I want to be politically correct on a lot of things that I didn't know. So hopefully my viewers will also, if you have questions or concerns, definitely feel free to call in. We're here to 203-802-5694 if you guys are interested in calling in. So now, when did you find out, and I'll go all the way down the line, that was your sexual preference?
It took me a little bit. I grew up in a very Christian household. Okay. I honestly didn't grow up around anyone in the LGBTQ community at all. I would say I started noticing there were things that were different about my preferences around 17.
Okay.
And then once I got to college, I was like, okay, this is it. Yeah.
So have you ever dated a man?
In high school, but does that count?
Yeah, a little. But when you were dating that person, were you like in the relationship where you was like, oh, this is just something to do?
I mean, thinking back on it, I think it was just kind of something to do. Right. Because, when you don't see something, then you're used to whatever it is that you see. So all of my friends were dating boys or whatever. So I'm like, all right, well, let me go and pick up a little boyfriend and let me go and grab him. And that was it.
How long did y'all date?
Oh, it wasn't long at all.
Okay, and then that was your last boyfriend, and then you and went on over. Okay, cool. LaPrince, how about you?
Oh God. The dating part I've known all my life.
Okay.
But it wasn't until about 39, 40.
Okay.
Where it shifted to being bisexual.
Okay, so before you were bisexual, what was your dating preference at that time?
Guys.
Guys, okay. So, which do you prefer more of, or it doesn't matter? It's just whatever you're sexually attracted to at that time?
That's a good question. I haven't even really thought about that. The older I'm getting, my appetite is switching.
Come on, shark. You a shark in the water. Come on.
So it's changing. It's switching. I haven't actually dated a guy in 5 years. 5 years.
So when you're dating a woman, what type of woman is it? Is it a me type of woman?
No.
Okay. Dang, just me. I ain't got a shot. Is it so what type of woman?
It's more of a masculine. I don't like to use the word stud. I don't like to use that word because if we really understand what that word means, we wouldn't use it. So it's more of a dominant female.
Dominant female.
So no one that's putting on lashes in 22-inch bundles.
Well, shoot. Let me take this off. Hold on, please.
I mean, that's fabulous and it's good, but it's just two of us can't be in the mirror and trying. We got somewhere to go. one of us
got to make it work. Okay, I appreciate that. Devin, your turn. So, when did you said transgender male. Okay. Can you break it down what transgender male means?
It basically means I was born a female, but I identify as male.
Okay.
And I am in transition now.
To go through. Okay. So, in your dating preference, what is your type?
Female.
Female,
Girly
like
girls.
a me, female,
Yeah.
girly girls. Okay.
Yeah.
I can put my lashes back on. Okay, so that's what's up. And then there was going to be another guest, and that individual as well was a transgender male. And I'm learning, and that's why I'm just going saying it slow, because I've always said transgender female, and for my mind, it's like I don't know how to say it. It's the same thing. It's just the opposite sex. So bear with me. Now, was it hard for you guys to come out and tell your family this about yourself? Because I know acceptance is everything.
I technically did not have the opportunity to come out. I was outed.
Are you able to explain can you tell the people
Yeah.
what outed means, and then how were you put in that position?
Yeah, I had somebody basically snitch on me, and basically what happened was a bitter ex had all of my passwords and such, and decided that she was going, like, it literally sounds like something out of a movie, but literally sent my mom an email from my personal email account the day before she was supposed to come to Conway and help me move. Right. So just so happened she didn't check the email that day. The next day she calls me and was like, "What is this email talking about?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And yeah, it was something new, so to say.
Does your mother or your father respect your sexuality now?
I think they respect me more as a person, not necessarily my sexuality. I'm extremely outspoken, so I've gotten to the point now. It took time, definitely, but I'm to the point now where I really don't care how you feel.
Good. That's good. And then I didn't get to ask you, what is your preference? You said you identify as lesbian. Are you more on the feminine lesbian person or the more masculine side?
Yeah, definitely the more feminine side. Just because I'm like, I don't need nobody trying my clothes on. I don't want none of that.
Okay.
If you want to be in the mirror, have your time.
There you have it. So about your friends, did your friends accept your lifestyle? Or were they the first ones to notice your lifestyle?
They accepted it pretty quickly, actually. I developed a really good group and close friends in college, and it never was an issue. And I think that's kind of how I was able to come to the point of, it really doesn't matter how you feel about me. Just having somebody accept who I was, coming from where I was, kind of, just made me a little stronger.
There you have it. Prince, same question for you. When you decided, you said it was your late 30s where you became understanding that bisexual was your preference. Throughout your life, though, did your family members accept your lifestyle?
Weirdly and oddly enough, yes. And the reason why I say that is because my family grew up Church of God in Christ.
Okay.
So my father was a elder, and my mom was, a diva. She just went to church, and so when my father passed away, my mom remarried and married a pastor. And so I didn't have those issues, but when I felt like I needed to have the conversation, I told my grandmother at first, and she was like, "Oh, I thought you had something serious to tell me." And so I was like, "Oh," she was like, "I'm going back to watch, I think it was Wheel of Fortune was on." And she was like, "You wasting my time."
Okay, so grandma's down.
Yeah, she was like, "I already knew." And then when I got in my late 30s, something happened unexpectedly. I was like, "Oh, okay, let's see where this goes." And then I'm not going to mention who she is, but she knows who she is, and we're still very close and stuff like that. We were very visible, of course, but now it's I think I have more fun with dating more masculine women.
More men? Okay. Ain't nothing wrong. So are you choosing or they choosing you?
I'm minding my own business.
I knew it was coming. I'm minding my own business. So you pulling them is what you're telling me.
I mind my own business. They in my inbox, in my Instagram.
I mean, you're fine. Ain't
It's going down in the DM. I'm saying.
They're very vocal,
Right.
but that doesn't mean everyone qualifies.
Come on through application process.
No, it's not even an application process. Some things you just have to have.
Visually.
No, it's not gonna work.
Okay. I might have to pick up some lessons from you. You got the DMs popping. I'm just kidding. I'm married. I'm just kidding. Devin, so for you, same questions. When you were going through, well, I'm gonna take a step back. So how did your family accept that you wanted to transfer over from the sex you were born to the sex you were going into?
It was pretty much the people that dealt with me anyway still dealt with me, and
Okay.
the people that had issues with it were people that I already had issues with my lifestyle. Period. So when I came out, there wasn't really a word for it. You know what I mean? I've always done boyish things. I've always been a boy. I came out to ironically, almost the same story as Prince. I came out to my grandmother, and I'll never forget, it was a birthday party we were having. She was playing spades. I pulled her from the spade table, and I was like, hey, I just need to tell you something real quick. And I'm talking to her. When I'm done, she was like, is that it?
But were they
Like,
winning the spades hand? Because that's important.
Yeah.
Was they up in the game?
Yeah,
okay.
and she was ready to get
That
back.
changes
she,
the atmosphere.
She gave me that answer, like, you pulled me away from my hand to tell me something I already knew. So I grew up with my grandmother, and like I said, I was never the normal girl. I didn't play with girl toys. My grandfather, my biological grandfather, when him and my grandmother divorced, he literally moved directly across the street and had 8 more kids. So yeah, so
He
those
is
were
fertile.
So those were the people that I, hung out with, played with, and they were all boys. So, it was perfect for me because that's what I like to do. I hated dresses. I never liked girl things. I was that little boy, and I didn't know what lesbian was. I wasn't thinking about sexuality at the time. I just knew I liked boy things. That's what I was comfortable with. And as I got older, what's ironic is the people that I kind of had a bond with then are also now either lesbian or gay men. So it's kind of like we all kind of knew, but there was no label for it. There was no word for it. I grew up in East Texas, so it was like everybody knew everybody.
Right, it's a small neck. Yeah.
So you kind of kept your business. You tried to keep as much of it to yourself, because something like that would be out in a minute. So.
Okay, I appreciate it because I'm learning. I'm going to learn today if I don't learn no other time. So were you guys in denial about what you liked or what you prefer to identify as? Because there's a lot of people that before the show started, I was explaining there's like exclusions to sexuality. So a lot of people may say, I'm not gay, but I suck a few penises. Shade. Or you might have some women that may be like, well, okay, I'll lick it twice, but I'm just doing it for fun. So were you in denial with the sexual choice or the sexual preference when you figured out, well, I know that I don't like the XYZ, but were you in denial?
I wanted to be. I wanted to be in denial because, like I said, coming from, a very Christian background, I did not want to disappoint my parents. But once I picked it up, I was like, yep, it's it. For the rest of the life, I can't do anything else. I can't be anybody but me.
That is very true. So with the church, I'm assuming you're still loyal to going.
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
All right, okay. Help me understand.
It definitely is not about sexuality. There are a lot of things that I have, since I grew up in it, and by in it, I mean like family members held every position but pastor in the church.
Okay, so you was always at church.
Yeah. So there are a lot of things that I saw within the church that I, to this day, don't want to try to explain to people.
Understandable.
So-
Okay. I just want to make sure they didn't, push you, because a lot of times the church tend to be judgmental.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure they didn't kind of exile you based off your preference. All right, La Prince, were you in denial, or were you accepting like, okay, this is it? I'm standing my grounds.
The first encounter, I was like, okay, this is unusual.
Okay.
And we had a conversation, and I was like, you know what? I'm almost 40 years old. Who do I have to explain anything to?
Bingo.
There was a lot of support from the community, and then there was a lot, because of who I am, a lot of nosiness. Because we were at a point where we weren't trying to hide what was going on, and then there was a lot of backlash. The black race in general is very closed-minded when it comes to sexuality.
Right.
And so what looks new, and the sad thing is nothing is new anymore. So what looks unfamiliar is now in question. And is it really right? But if we could ever understand sexuality as a whole, there was nothing that we were doing that was wrong. It was just more fun and more creative.
Yeah, I bet somebody's saying church in the background. Like,
But now, if I briefly could, when I actually, when we went to church, then because of me being ordained, it was questioned whether the relationship was actually real. So my statement was, well, come over to the house one night and see what happens. Why don't you spend the night, and then you'll get an answer.
That's okay. Another person, a celebrity, said that. I can't remember who it was, but they kept questioning if he was gay, and he's like, "Drop your girl." Cisco kept saying Cisco was gay, and he was like, "Drop your girl off. I'm gonna show the dragon." Okay, so did they come over?
No.
Okay, I got that.
I mean, sometimes you just gotta take the word for it.
Right. Okay, so Devin, same thing for you. I know you said you already accepted that you like to do boy things. So was there any point of being in denial?
It wasn't really in denial, but there was a point where I felt like, what is this? Like, it's normal for me. It feels normal to me, and it feels like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But in reality, I'm like, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, this isn't what everybody else is doing. Why am I, feeling this weird way, kind of like I was different. I kind of had this different feeling. So I wasn't really in denial about it. I was more so trying to figure out, why I was the chosen one. Everybody else is normal, but I got these weird feelings, and I'm digging these chicks, that's around me, and I'm trying to figure out why.
Right, because at that time they would have said, Devin, come on, let's play with these dolls.
Yeah.
Devin, let's go.
I'm like, nah.
No, let's go play like sports or something hardcore. Okay. So did your parents at that time try to change the narrative of what you were feeling?
My dad was more of a free spirit guy, so up until the day he passed away, that was my dude. Like
Okay.
We had no issues. It was fine. My mom, she tried. Before I even really came out, I think she noticed that I was doing different things, so she made her attempts, with her boyfriend's son, or this person
Trying to hook you up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a Libra, so I've always been very to the point. Like I say what I feel, and
right.
I mean what I say. So there was times she would introduce people. I remember one in particular, and she was like, "Did you see such and such?" I walked right past everybody. I'm going to my room to do what I normally do for the night or whatever, and she was like, "Did you see such and such sitting in the living room?" I'm like, yeah, I saw him. At the, what I was doing, and she was so, like, it just hurt her soul. She was just like, Well, I bet if they came in here looking like, I think she was like, with their pants hanging off their butt and woo-doo-doo, I bet you pay them some attention or something. And in my mind, I'm like, you have no idea. Like, you were so throwing the wrong thing in my face. Like,
Right, this is not me.
it was crazy because I got, as a kid, when you grow up with somebody who was a single parent, they have these walls and they are so strict because they don't want you to take a road that they took and, you know, have a baby in high school and this and that. So it was always kind of comical to me that, you know, there was, you know, boys coming over here, ain't no, you're not doing nothing with these boys. But we had all the slumber parties and,
Right.
you know, so I think now, I wonder now if she thinks back, you know, to some
She
of
was
those
hooking you
weekends.
up. And you was really getting it. You was hunching, wasn't you?
We played some hide and go get it.
I bet
can't
you
even-
did. You
there was a
surprise.
few- There was a few hide and go get it games.
I
Yeah.
know y'all was rubbing one out.
That
I know.
That happened. Hey, you have to figure it out. So.
Indeed, they say that. They say that. Okay, so I will say this. And Devin, I'll start with you on this question. For me, I'm very respectful, and I hope to be in the future. Like, sometimes we say things and we don't know that this is offensive. You said that you are a transgendered male. What pronoun, or how should I, if I was walking past you in passing, how am I to greet you?
Sir, him, his. I use male pronouns.
All male pronouns. Okay. All right. So, with that also being said, do you?
You can't hurt my feelings. Just
Okay,
say it.
that's what I was
Just
like.
say
Hey,
it.
is there anything that will come
I'm
up?
hard to offend.
Okay,
so
got
just-
you,
can
got
just
you.
say
So
it.
as long as people identify, do you tell people this? But my first question is, when somebody meets you, are they saying, "Hey, Devin, how are you doing?" Oh, him over there. Are they automatically giving you those pronouns?
Most times.
Okay.
Most times, yeah.
So you're not having to go correct them like I'm a sir.
Not with people. That's more so with people who have like known me all my life and you know
Gotcha.
are used to referring to me, you know, as a female or by my former name. It took them more time to get used to it because, you know, that's just what they were used to.
Right.
So it was an adjustment more so for them. People that meet me now is pretty much the easy
Him,
part.
his.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I wanted to make sure I got that out for my sake because, as you know, I'm calling you Devin, because I'm like nervous. I'm like, I don't want to step on no toes. I got a job to go to tomorrow. So my question for all of you guys, there's a lot of hatred going on with the community, period. And I don't think that people sit and think, well, these are humans. Outside of your sexual preference, we're all humans. Do you fear for your life when you go out and engage in communities, in the community in general, with people that don't accept your community?
I don't fear for my life. I do fear that I'm going to have a negative interaction. Had it before, so why not? Why not expect someone seeing me hold hands with a girl or whatever? Why not expect them to understand it? But also, I feel like sometimes if I prepare myself for it, like if I just kind of think like, oh, they probably gonna say something, then in my mind I'm ready for it whenever they say it, But I will say generally I do not have, those type of interactions. I don't know why. I ain't asking for them.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes it is extremely scary. But like I said, I don't fear for my life.
Gotcha. Do you feel that you are that people in your job, they may not want to hire you or deal with you because of your sexuality?
Nah, because I'm the business when it comes to work, when it comes to my job, I know what I'm supposed to do. My sexuality is a piece of me. It is not me. And I feel like I exude that.
Come on, big word.
Come on now. I don't want to go into it being like, hey, I'm Chris, I'm a lesbian. Hey,
Right.
I'm Chris. I got degrees. This is why you need to hire me.
Perfect. For you, LaPrince, the same question. Do you feel when you go out into the community, do you fear for your life? Never. Good. And do you feel that people working with you, they have I guess a stereotype to where they don't want to work with you based off of your preference, your sexuality?
No, I think it's more so people are more drawn to me because at times I can be a mystery, and so that I don't have that issue. I'm a district regional manager, so I oversee 150 properties. So sexuality really never came into question about what it was about, who, if I could get the job done.
Hey, are y'all hiring? So you always got to plug yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's good though. All jokes aside, that's really, really good. Same question for you, Devin. Do you feel that when you go out, whether they know or, well, you said most people that meet in your past and they just talk to you how they see you. Mm-hmm. But for the people in the past and that don't accept it, do you fear for your life?
I really don't. I'm not a fearful person.
Ooh, snaps! That scared me. That shit was a bomb.
I'm not a fearful person.
I wonder if this is us. Is this us, Kenny? You live with Shaunie. What's your name?
Sunshine. What's up, Shaunie world?
What's happening, Sunshine? What it do?
How are you?
I'm blessed, honey. So we have the panel here. Did you have any questions for them?
You know what I want to say? First of all, I want to say that I love Shaunie World because I am so proud that you are giving everybody a platform. You're giving everybody a place to speak their truth. And this show is so powerful, and I'm going to keep sharing it because so many people need to understand, you know, if you just look at things as a big picture versus just whatever you've been taught or whatever blinders you have on, take that off. Because there's a huge world out there, and people live in so many glass houses, okay?
Right.
So I just want to just say congratulations, and I'm so proud of each and every one of you all. Being brave and speaking your truth. So I'm loving it. I'm just gonna stay tuned in. I don't want to. I just want to say I love y'all.
Thank you so much, Sunshine. Y'all make sure y'all check out Tea and Whiskey with Sunshine, man, every Wednesday. Appreciate you, Queen. You take it easy.
You too.
Bye bye. All right, Devin. So for the fear of your life.
I'm gonna say I'm not a fearful person when it comes to anything. I feel like what you put out is what you get back, and I put out positive energy. I'm not surrounded by negativity. I don't deal with negative people. I don't feed into negative vibes. When I feel like that's what you're about, I cut it off. Like it's really easy for me to love you from a distance and not say another word to you, not keep you in my space. So right. I don't have those fears. My resume speaks for itself as far as, you know, jobs go. I've never had an issue getting a job. If I can talk to a manager, I'm hired. Where if that's always how it's been. That's just how I feel. I speak with confidence. You know, I put positive things out there. You know, when I'm trying to do something. So I just don't dwell in negative vibes. So I don't expect negative. I'm prepared for negative. I'm always prepared for it. But I don't go into it expecting it. You know, and if it does come my way, I deal with it based on the situation, you know. Whatever the situation calls for, that's kind of what you get.
Protect your energy in the rest of these years, because the people they know how to flicker light on. I tell you that. Okay, so I have the best time. I love the drag shows on the Strip. I do. But when I look at the news sometimes and I see the hate crime of the people 2 blocks over that's trying to come on and shoot and run people over, it always makes me say, well, do they fear their lives? So that's what was one question I wanted to ask. Because I'm always walking around like, oh my God. I'm scared now because everything is death. And nobody cares to understand. They're just like, oh, I don't like this person. Let's kill them. So I wanted to see how you guys felt actually living the lifestyle, of course, in a community where people are a little ignorant sometimes. So what would you guys say to an individual that would speak and say that you guys have mental issues because of the preference of your lifestyle?
Yeah, I got mental issues. Sure, why not? If that's what you want to say. If that's what you need to say to make yourself feel better, by all means, go for it. I don't care what you say about me, because at the end of the day, I am me. I'll be all right. You're not paying my bills at all.
Right. I get that a lot. They're like, oh, something tragic happened to them, trauma wise, or it's a learned behavior. You're not born that way. They always say that. So,
and I think the crazy thing about when they say learned behavior, like I said, I did not view anybody in this community growing up. Not until I was of age to actually understand what it was. Nobody was like, hey, go kiss that girl.
Right.
Nobody was like, look at her booty. Nobody. So I don't understand where they're coming from with the learned behavior, because I had to learn this behavior on my own.
Got you. Chris told you guys. LaPrince, for you, what would you say to somebody that challenges your feelings and say, oh, it's a mental issue, it's something happened to him when he was younger, that's the only reason why he chose this lifestyle?
We all have mental issues.
Amen.
Now some are more extreme than others, but that's something that I wouldn't even entertain. You get to a certain level in life, some conversations don't even have are not even worth entertaining, because your sexual preference or your preference on anything doesn't mean that makes it right.
Okay.
I think oftentimes, again, what seems not familiar is always looked at as what's wrong.
Could you say that again for the people in the back?
What seems unfamiliar to you or not familiar could always be looked at as wrong. And who's to say the heterosexual lifestyle, they don't have a mental problem?
Like how you put
I
that.
could go further with some things, but I'm not, because this is not about attacking, it's about getting understanding.
Yes, again, that's why I want to do this show, honey. Devin, for you, what would you say to individuals, family, friends, or just strangers when they say there's a mental issue based off of the preference you chose, whether it's in relation to you having trauma in your life, they just can't accept the fact that you love you. What do you say to those people?
Well, my grandparents used to have this saying, a hit dog always holler. So for you to project whatever your mental issues are on me, that's on you. Whatever mental issues I may have had, I deal with, there's none of that caused me to be who I am. Just like there's some black men who date white women because they like white women. There are some who date white women because they were traumatized by a black woman.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own reason. You can't group everybody in one box and say this is why this whole group of people chooses to be who they are. Everybody has their reason. Me personally, I've always been who I am since a kid. Like I said, I've never done girly things. I've never been that normal girl. So I've just been me. I didn't find out until the early 2000s that there was a label for it.
Right.
Until I moved out of East Texas and came to Dallas. That's when I found out there was a label for it. I literally found out then, oh wait, there's a club that everybody goes to.
Right.
Where people openly just
have a
this,
ball.
This actually happens. So I didn't get, both of my parents are heterosexual. My grandparents were heterosexual, and so on and so on and so on.
Right.
So that learned behavior and this was forced on you. I had no examples of homosexuality growing up. None. It was the complete opposite. I had no examples of girls kissing girls or transgender men or transgender women. I did not even know what that was. When I was introduced to that, it was called transsexual. That's the term everybody was using. It was more so referring to the men who wanted to be women. I had no example of women transitioning into men.
Gotcha.
Until I got here. So that's a cop-out is basically what it is. It's a way for people, when something is uncomfortable and you don't want to talk about it, as black families, we grew up in that, oh, just shut up and go to your room. Yeah. Oh, just be quiet, don't nobody want to hear that. When something is uncomfortable, we shut down communication.
Right. We don't talk about it no more.
So it's easier to assume what you think it should be or what you think the reason is than to have that difficult conversation and actually find out what's really going on.
Right. Yeah, because I have people that kind of put that question on me, like, well, if you accept everybody, would you accept your son? And I'm like, I'm the type of person that I have to be in that moment, but I would love my son hands down. That's my son. Like
Right.
I don't see me I care about family and friends. So for me to turn my back and act like I don't know you, I will feel like less than a human. So I don't know what make other people so hateful about things they don't understand, but I guess that's just the human nature. You gotta hate something, I guess.
I think a lot of times people point out something in yourself that you don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't be around homosexual or transgender people because you haven't dealt with that. That's poking at you.
That question
Yeah.
Whichever way you decide to go. You know what I mean? But you haven't dealt with that. You haven't dealt with the curiosity that you have. Even if it's just having a conversation about it to answer some questions, you may not necessarily even want to be in that lifestyle. But there's something that's making you defensive about the subject, and defensive is normally what turns into anger and hate and not understanding, because you got that wall up already about whatever it is you're feeling.
Right. And it's funny you say that, because I used to ask people questions and they were like, she choosing. I'm like, no, I'm just that type of person. My teacher told me, ask questions so you can't answer them anymore. So it doesn't mean I'm interested. I'm just trying to understand from your perspective. Okay. So what are a few misconceptions about the LGBT community? And you can give me, of course, your examples that you run into.
I think kind of that I think it's kind of, people think that we are all the same. And I quote that because we kind of all want, I don't want to say different things. The main thing we want is acceptance and, to just live, Right. But, sometimes they look at us as predators, as, people who don't know God or things like that. I am very, very in tune with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but I also don't go to church because of a lot of things that I've seen. So I think it's just, kind of seeing us as subhuman, I'll say.
Big misconception.
Yeah.
Okay, LaPrince, did you have any misconceptions of people against you or just the community in general?
I really can't speak in whole for the community, but what I will say is that, especially in the black community, it's considered to be very deceiving and messy. That we're lazy. That we're users, and we're not unified. And that's some of the stuff that I see time and time again. Although those statements that I did say are true, it's not the makeup of what that community is.
Right, because I know a lot of lazy heterosexuals. Start there. Okay, and Devin, for you, any misconceptions that crossed your path?
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about the whole community is that everything revolves around sex. That every point that we're trying to make is about having sex with somebody and being able to have sex. Everything is pointed there, when, like Chris said, we're really just trying to live. We really just want to be who we are individually. Me personally, I don't participate in a lot of LGBT events and things like that. Not, because I have any beef with anybody, or, so I support anybody out here trying to do what they're trying to do. But I don't participate in a lot of events because I don't do a lot of gay things. I live a boring life. I go to work, I come home, I have my own business, I do what I do. But I'm not out on the front line. You know what I mean? And I think part of the reason is because I see a lot of doors kind of opening up for LGBT, and it's kind of hard for me because I see that getting support, and I don't see my black people getting the same support. So it's just hard for me to kind of balance those two out. But I think aside from the sexuality, it's kind of, again, what Chris said, just stereotypes.
Right.
Every stud has a backpack and lives with their girlfriend. No job. every gay man has a purse and
Yeah.
you know, high heels and a wig. You know,
Right.
Like everybody is grouped into this group when it's so much. It's so much creativity, it's so much diversity within an already diverse group. But I think we take those stereotypes because media and television latches on to certain stereotypes, and that's what they put out there as well. So we accept that as the normal instead of getting to know that there are so many different types of individuals, you know, in the community.
There you have it. But Prince, you got something for me?
Okay, so he brought up something very key. But could those stereotypes actually keep those stereotypes that people are having? Could they still be existent because in our own community we are having an issue with one another?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Until we grow up and stop having. I had to tell somebody, there's a group, and I'm just going to call y'all out. I don't care because some of y'all are watching me anyway. With, love y'all. I know y'all are concerned about my eye, but I'm okay. I sprayed some cologne. But anyway, there's a group on Facebook called Stud Empire.
Okay.
And they y'all make me sick.
I took myself out of that group.
Y'all make me so sick. But we can't accept love and true genuine support from another community when you are evil in your own community. When you are you guys, and I'm gonna say y'all because I don't do it. You guys are teaching people how to hate us even more, how to have stereotypes even more, how to have misunderstandings, because y'all are evil, y'all are misled, y'all are stupid, you're ignorant, and you have these own, like, free your own self, free your own bedroom. And one, stay out of other people's bedroom. If two studs, again, I'm changing my language about that because we really know what a stud is. We wouldn't be calling a stud.
Can you give us a definition that you speak of?
It's more so having to do with a horse.
It's a horse that's used for breeding. I grew up on a farm.
So if
A
we
stud is a horse you use to breed other horses.
so we change our language and understand we as black people pick up stuff and just go with it.
Right.
So if we change our language and get understanding, if a dominant female wants to date a dominant female,
That's your business.
whose business is that? If a feminine female wants to date a feminine female, at the end of the day, they're still women. Now, who's going to take longer in the bathroom? That's funny, but at the end of the day,
Right.
if a transgender male wants to date another transgender male, that's their business.
Right.
If a stud or more dominant woman wants to date a man. I dated one here last year, back in October, and we went viral. And some of you were very hateful, and some were very loving. Stupid questions like, well, what happens in the bedroom?
Why you need to know?
Right. But y'all were happy, but they were worried about everything else.
Just dumb stuff. And so we as a black community, these conversations are not happening in our other communities because they don't care. They have time. They're worried about making money. They're worried about making a future. But us, we're so Atlanta hip-hop-ish with our mind frames till we can't figure out how to create a business. And if we get a business, we don't know how to market it. We're not focused on more important stuff. We're worried about who's in whose bed. The other stereotypes is if two feminine males want to hook up. Who cares? And I think I'm to the point where, because I'm darn near 50, that this crap doesn't matter anymore.
Right. Just
I'm
live your
more
life.
concerned about voting. I'm more concerned about this
Register.
maniac that we got going on. Because y'all are worried about the wrong thing, and it's like, again, we won't get the respect because we can't respect one another. And until we respect one another, And then even if you have a question, there's a proper way to have if you don't understand something,
Right.
have conversation. Have the conversation respectfully.
Right.
Ask if this is okay to ask.
There you have it.
Just don't assume, and that's where I there were some groups I wanted to call out because I see stuff, and I'm the only male in that group, and I latch out on them because it's ignorant.
But guys, you have it. He said you're stupid. It's what he said.
Can I chime in a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
First of all, I agree with Sunshine. I appreciate her coming in. You guys are very brave to come out and tell your story. You know, as a business owner, you know, podcast owner, network, you know, I've had an LGBT show, and I thought it was important that there is one to do exactly what Shaunie's doing right now, to educate people on what the lifestyle is about. The big stereotype from a heterosexual perspective is that what I'm hearing, what I've heard, you know, is that, you know, people within the LGBT community are overly sensitive. They had issues from childhood. All of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? And we all tend to condemn what we don't understand. It happened with the black people, period. How white folks didn't understand it, so they condemned us. They kept us in a certain level of condemnation. I agree with everything what Prince just said. Right. Because if you can't take care of yourself first, you know, why would you know, how can you pass judgment on everyone else? Because it's the self-hatred.
Yeah.
Right.
And those individuals should be isolated with who they are. They're self-hating each other. So I commend all you guys, and I commend you, Shaunie, for having this type of platform for folks.
Again, I appreciate them for coming because, you know, this is going to be very, very educational for somebody that either wants to come out, be accepted, or just fit in general. Like I said, we're all humans at the end of the day. Yeah. And if you were in a tragic car accident and you were so hateful to this community and this happened to be a first aid responder, are you going to die just because you don't like their lifestyle? So this was a question that somebody wrote into me, and it says, they felt that sexuality is being forced, especially in the media, through shows like Empire, now cartoons. There's a few commercials that sell insurance that are forcing it. What do you feel about that?
I hate it.
You hate it?
I absolutely hate it because at the end of the day, sexuality, period, is being pushed on everybody. So, and what I mean by that is, like you said, we didn't see same-sex anything growing up. All I saw was heterosexual sex on TV. That didn't make me want to be heterosexual. So no, we're not. Then I don't want to say we because I ain't pushing nothing.
Right.
However, the community is not pushing anything on you. If you disagree with it, cool. By all means, disagree.
Change the channel.
Change the channel. However, all these people are trying to do, and whether the companies are trying to make money or what, that's none of my business. What they're trying to do is make us more visible. Now, one thing I will say that I don't like is anytime that I do see the same-sex couples, it's either a white couple or an interracial couple. I think I've... Actually, no, I can't recall anything that I've seen on TV where there was a same-sex, same race, you know, African American or black, you know.
Well, the commercial I saw, there is a black male and there's a white male.
Yes.
So yes, and that was a car insurance commercial, I believe.
In one of my favorites, Black Lightning. It's funny to me, but the girl, I don't remember her name, but she had an whole interracial relationship, and I'm just like, it almost negates, you know, what we as a people are trying to do, because personally, I'm not going to date outside my race. I believe black women are beautiful, and I'm not dating anyone else. I don't have anything against any other race.
Right.
But are you pushing interracial dating on me at that point?
Gotcha.
My question would be for the people that were, because since you use Empire as an example, you said, for the people who were upset about Jamal and his little boyfriend,
right?
Were you upset when Taraji had her sex scene?
Ooh, refresh me. Which episode was that?
That was real hot.
Yeah, it was real.
It was hot. What season?
The last one. Just
okay.
Her and the new little dude was about to get it in, and then her and the bodyguard from the earlier season was about to get it in. And her and Lucius was getting it in. So are we upset about, or are we just upset about the display of the homosexual relationships. Because here's how I look at it. If it's normal, it's normal. You know, if it's a part of life, it's a part of life. If you're mad about pushing sex, then be mad about all of it. Because if you're only upset about the scenes that were guy on guy, then that means you just have a problem with this specific group. If you're not, now if you're mad about all of it, then I can get your point. You don't want to see that on TV. Okay, so after 7 o'clock, get your kids from in front of the TV, because that's when grown people shows come on.
Right.
And so just move them from in front of the TV, whatever you need to do. I don't think sex is being forced. I think because we have a bigger media presence, and because I used to play outside as a kid, but now kids sit in front of the TV.
Sit in the phones, yeah.
So now that we have a bigger media influence, it's not that it's being forced, it's just that you're seeing it more. Because TVs are being used more, computers are being used more, those outlets are more in front of your children. So
How
if
about
you
you just
don't
take
want
your
to,
kids from in front of TV all the time?
right. Or if you have those children that are at that age, have a conversation.
Right.
You know, have a conversation. I think part of the problem also is that we wait, instead of being proactive, we're retroactive. We wait until you know, Brenda got a baby before we talk to Brenda about
Being
how not to
preventative.
make the baby. You know what I'm saying? So I think we had things kind of backwards in that sense, and then we find a way to put a blame on, oh, kids are doing this because it's all in the media, it's all in this. Anything, like I said, to keep from having that difficult conversation that makes you accountable for what your children are doing.
Gotcha. LaPrince, let's have it. Do you feel that sexuality is being forced in the media?
No. And I love Taraji, but let's go back even further than Empire. Baby Boy. Different sex scenes. But let's come out of Hollywood and not talk about the sex scenes. Let's talk about the music. So nobody was doing anything when women were being paraded around as little sluts in these videos with the little G-strings and all that.
Right.
That was sexuality, but it wasn't an issue. Whatever happened to inclusion? That's where we need to get. The music that we're listening to now, we're not bringing up a whole big issue about it. I don't think now, and I'm just going to say it, and then, you know, some of my male supporters that are heterosexual are watching now, but this comment's not towards them. You only fear what you're tempted of. So that wasn't towards y'all, because I know y'all respect me. You only fear what you're tempted of.
That's my point, yeah.
If you are so straight to the core, I got a barber that's heterosexual that's watching.
Right.
We got cast members that's heterosexual, and they have seen. Heck, I might even go even further. The director of Domestic was the one that wanted to film the sex scene with me, my co-star,
Right.
Mr.
Shout out to Mr.
But he's heterosexual.
Right.
So if you weren't so tempted with your own issue instead of identifying with the issue, then we wouldn't even be having this type of conversation.
LaPrince, you know my favorite scene was when you whip that blanket up over your head. Y'all ain't seen Domestic yet, but watch it. You whip that blanket. It was
That's,
sexy.
you know, all of it comes from just understanding the music now. Nobody said, and I love Weeknd, I love LMA and all that, but before 2019, we were talking about sexuality, but because we have social media, Patti LaBelle had a song many years ago, and it didn't hit me until maybe 5 years ago what she was really talking about. There's a song back in the 60s and 70s that she said, "I come like the pouring rain. Each time you call my name." So was she pushing heterosexual? She didn't say whether her coming was from a man or a woman.
She nasty.
So, and I love Patti LaBelle, but there's other songs. So if we want to holler about TV, turn the TV off. But you're not saying nothing when you're watching HBO late at night. You just don't want nobody to know that you're dealing with these emotions.
That's true. And that's again a point I was making earlier. I think people are uncomfortable because they might have had a thought, a desire, a question like, oh man, maybe I could. I sit on Facebook a lot of times and I just put my phone on don't stop. You know how you have to click a video to watch it? I don't have to do that. I just watch it without clicking it. You don't get my view, but I'm viewing. Pay attention. But I don't feel uncomfortable with stuff that I see. Now, I may have questions about what I see, but I'm not hateful of like, why? But I have seen, and now that you guys are saying it when there's a heterosexual agenda being pushed, it is displayed. Because when I was growing up, all I saw was women's boobs and women's booties and women's thighs, but I never could see a man's penis. It's not until Power came on and we saw 50 Cent's penis. I love that scene. It was a little black, but it was sexuality for me was always forced exploiting women in general. It's not until probably 2017 where I'm starting to see a lot of sexuality where it's driven bisexual wise, but I think, like you said, everybody's being accepted now. So it's an open market. You just have to really figure out why are you so offended, and is it because you have, like you said, a desire, a trauma, an experience that you have? You just don't know how to open up that door.
But even still, that doesn't, if you have a thought or whatever, that doesn't make you homosexual.
It doesn't, but I think people are now nervous, like you said, when you were growing up, like, what is this? You're trying to understand it, and I think people just get pushed up against the wall.
I have two very heterosexual brothers. One has 8 children.
He fertile too.
Very heterosexual. When I tell you we have been to, because these were my boys, this is who I hung out with.
Right.
We've been to every gay club. They've tipped gay dancers before,
right,
men and women, with no thought to, just one of my, there's a shout out to Bowlegs.
Bowlegs is so awesome.
That was one of my brother's favorite dancers, because in his mind it was like an art of how you just transformed yourself into this whole other person and you making it work for you. So he respected that. So whenever we went out, that's one person that he would tip. My brother's it's never been a problem. He's gotten hit on in the club.
Right.
It's always been a respectful, hey, I'm
good. I'm here. I'm chilling.
With my family. I'm chilling.
Bowlegs is bad.
And nothing. You know what I'm saying? When you're comfortable with who you are, your environment doesn't change you.
Right.
I've always said I will make my environment adapt to me before I change myself for anything around me. So when you're comfortable with yourself, you don't have to have that feeling, that inferior feeling or that defensive mode.
Right. You just talk to them.
Yeah. You just enjoy yourself.
Well, like I said, I'm pretty much open, and for my friends, when we do go out, if I do happen to go to like a gay club or whatever, and somebody do try to holler at me, I'm like, girl, I'm good, and I keep it moving. I'm like, girl, get away from me. I'm not, you're it. Like, I'm not doing all of that because I know comfortably what I like and whatever. Right. If you're attractive to both sides, and that means you look good, I will hope you would think so. Take it as a compliment, keep it moving. Hey, I'm not interested. I gotta go. Okay, so then my last question for you guys before we actually hop into the altar call. There's been a lot of, and Devin, this will be for you. I mean, you guys can feel free to answer in, but there's been a lot of transgender related crimes. Not only Dallas, but we have other places where these deaths are happening, and it's not any urgency in solving the crime. Let's be honest. The one that took place here in Dallas was Malaysia Booker and Chanel Lindsay. Both of them, Malaysia's story was a little different. It was kind of like a heightened scene where the car might have caused a collision and she tried to take off. Got in the street, it was an altercation verbally, but over the span of time, the way they mopped the floor in Malaysia, to me, I know that she provoked something, but to get jumped, to me, it's cowardly, but Malaysia ended up dying. Somebody killed Malaysia. Same with Chanel Lindsay. I'm not sure what the story was with that, but they found her in a lake. Then thereafter, we had Freddie McConnell. He came out. He was a male dating a transgendered Female, right? And he ended up. They said it was more to the story where it was a drug-related issue, but a lot of people picked on him for loving who he loved, committed suicide. Then thereafter, Malik Yoba came out and said that he identified with the transgender community as well. So, what do you feel with this scenario with the transgender community? Do you feel that people care about the lives, seeing that people are mistreated, murdered, beat up? Do you think there's any urgency?
I think that goes back to, you're gonna be who you are regardless. If you're a horrible person, you're gonna be even more horrible when it comes to things like this. People worry about the wrong thing, and people get intimidated so much by people that are just living their lives. I'm gonna start with the Malaysia situation. I don't know every detail. I didn't know Malaysia personally, but just looking at how the story unfolded and just watching the people that were involved with her being, not even her death, but her being attacked, you could just see how intimidated and how inferior people feel, or those people felt with her, because you went straight to, when they were in court and they were, dealing with her, you went straight to making sure you wanted her to be referred to as a man.
Yes.
You wanted it to look like you were jumping on a man.
Right.
You got attacked by a man, and you wanted to push that so bad. So to me, that just makes me feel like you already had this inferior complex with this person. Sometimes people that can live their truth intimidate people who can't. People who have the courage to say, look, I got one life, this is what I'm gonna do. Sometimes other people get jealous of that, you know what I mean? And a lot of people don't take the transgender life seriously. Now, I can't be honest enough to say there are things, again, that, like LaPrince said, within our own community that make people feel they have the right not to take it seriously. We do a lot of damage to ourselves, and people see that, and they take off with that, and they use that, against you. And we allow that because we're doing it to ourselves on the inside.
Right.
I really feel like overall, no matter what you believe in, if you believe in Jesus, hallelujah to you. If you believe in the Quran, Buddha, whoever it is that you believe in, the bottom line to every one of those books,
right,
Torah, the Bible, whatever, is just do the right thing. That's the bottom line to every one of those books. Do the right thing, do right by people, try to leave this world better than it was when you came into it. If we just stood on that principle and wasn't so worried about who the prince sleep with when he go home, has no effect on my life.
Right.
It's not gonna change my coins. It's not gonna change my bills. It's not gonna change me personally, emotionally.
Right.
That's him. I don't have to agree with anything he does to love and respect him.
Yeah.
When Chris go home tonight, nothing she does is gonna affect anything that I do.
Right.
She could sit here and say a whole opinion that I agree nothing with. I could think it's the most dumbest thing I ever heard. I'm gonna respect her opinion.
Because it's her opinion.
And again, I can love and respect her from a distance. We could all leave here today and not like anybody in this room. Not want to talk to anybody ever
You
again.
preaching.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But at the same time, it's a line of respect.
Right.
That's it. If we all would just respect each other, then all this other stuff wouldn't matter. You wouldn't be worried about who I'm sleeping with, or who I'm holding hands with, or if I got the right to marry who I want to marry, or if I want to adopt some babies, whatever. You wouldn't be worried about that. You would just be dealing within your circle and trying to make your circle better.
We got a lot to do as a world, as an environment. So did you hear that always pads? I know. I got to hit.
Let me get this opinion real quick.
Yes.
I think this is the dumbest shit I ever heard. Okay.
Right.
People are so extra. I don't care if it's a giraffe on the back of pads. What does it matter? Now, I'm going to offend some people, and it's fine.
Right.
Have your opinion. Pick your battles, man.
Your battles.
Pick it. Do y'all really want to be fighting over the symbol on the pad?
I didn't even know until I was flying to Vegas and saw it. Yeah.
What effect does that have on your life that it's a picture of a woman's? Okay, all my transgender bros, if you still have a uterus and you still have to use these products, it's a feminine product.
Right.
It's made for feminine parts that you still obviously have. We're going to respect you as a transgender male, but 5 to 7 days out of the month, I'm sorry, you got to go down the feminine aisle. Yeah. Leave these people alone about the picture on it. This is what I mean by we don't get taken seriously because we pick stupid ass battles that we want to promote instead of focusing on what we really need to. I don't care about
that's what we want
what's on the pad. Let's talk about this bill that's finna make y'all have to use the women's restroom with a whole beard.
Facts.
Let's talk about that instead of what's on a pack of.
Y'all better hear him, because he just answered all the questions I did. So then what about the sororities? What about transgender wanting to be?
Are you a dude? Okay, sororities aren't for dudes. Pick one. Now, if you did all this battling and all this chanting, all this surgery to say, I am a boy, Damon, I want to be respected as a dude, you can't backtrack and say, but you're going to let me in this sorority. Man, come on. This is
what I wanted. I wanted to hear it. I want to hear it.
Pick a side. Pick a side, man. You can't scream, respect me as a man. I'm using the man's restroom. I'm taking this testosterone. Respect my life. Call me he and him. But you want to be in the sorority. That's a fucking oxymoron. You cannot find you some frat bros.
And create one.
Create one.
That's all I say. Create you one.
Greek squad. We good at that. We good. It's a whole group of studs that created their own little.
They did, because they was hitting us with like this. I saw them.
Yeah, like, come on, man. If it's not a lane for you, take examples from Tyler Perry and create your own lane.
I got one more for you.
Don't bump in somebody else's lane.
My other one, transgendered in sports. I mean, there's a lot of people that have raced on the track side and won. There's I think a cyclist that just won. There was a wrestler that just won. So what do you feel about transgenders in sport?
I think, honestly, it's one of those things you really can't measure because the effects of testosterone and estrogen are person to person based. Yeah. So you can't say what's going to give one person an edge will give another person an edge. But realistically, I do think it's a little unfair if you, as a woman or a man, but more so for me as a woman, if you spend your life dedicated to this particular sport and working out and eating right and doing all the things you got to do so that you can get these accolades. I don't think it's fair that a transgender female will be able to be included in those accolades with you, because again, we can't measure what's going to give you that edge, what's going to give you or if it even gave you a link up. I think if we're going to go as far as medals and awards and things like that, like I said, create your own lane, because until we really understand what those extras will be or what those edges could be that you're getting, it's really, to me, it's just kind of unfair to group it all together. You in high school, it's your senior year and you a female, you've been working all this time and you the best, but now a guy who's transitioning, transgender woman comes in and, she's just started her transition. So who knows what her level of testosterone is versus the estrogen. She comes in and smokes you out.
Right.
Do we know if that was her talent as a female or if that was the remaining testosterone, that you're still running on? That's where as an athlete, I just always like for things to be fair when it comes, to things like that.
I can respect that.
It's walking a thin line, but I think until we can say definitely, what it is,
what's winning it.
I just think it should be a different lane.
Can I chime in on that one?
Yeah.
Because that's important. I'm glad what you said that. I'm glad you asked that question too, because I know the International Olympic Committee has stated that whoever's transitioning which direction you're going, you have to go on, at least in the process, a minimum of 6 months. So your body can adapt to whatever the transitioning period is.
Gotcha.
How they measure that, how they know, I don't know. But I'm thinking they have ways, and doctors have ways to say how much your body has transitioned through this process. But it has to be a minimum of 6 months for that fairness to take place.
They can do, blood work will show how much estrogen you have as opposed to how much testosterone you have. But what we really can't measure is how much of an edge did that give you. Because whereas a half a milliliter of testosterone may take you through the roof, I may need a milliliter and a half to get to that same level. So even though the paperwork shows, okay, yeah, she's transitioned to her testosterone is way down here, her estrogen up here, she's a girl. That's cool. But we don't know what that effect is per person, That's my only question with that. That's why I say I just like for things to be fair. 'Cause whenever I compete, I never want to blow somebody out because they didn't have the same, you know, right? Because it's not, yeah, right. It was like the Cowboys and the Jets, you know what I mean? It's just shade Cowboy fans, but it's all.
It was a little shade.
Yeah,
okay,
little
so should they still be able to compete with everybody or have their own lane for that as well?
I just really feel like there should be your own lane for that. Unless you have completely, like if you've completely transitioned, I mean everything is what it is, and you went through the whole shebang bang of everything. That's where we get into, you know, that gray area. You know, it's hard to know how much of an advantage you may or may not have. You know, I just feel like to make it fair, you know, walk that line, create your own lane, you know.
Okay. Well, K-Boogie, we're going to quickly get into the altar call, and then we're going to let these beautiful people go back to watching their games and eating their food and all of that. I got some chicken I'm waiting on. Hit that music, K-Boogie. The altar call, basically, I've learned that people don't listen unless you got some gospel music. That's why you hear it in your ears. Okay. So somebody wrote into me, and they just wanted some advice. So if you guys want to chime in once I finish reading, do all you can. It reads, I am a middle-aged single female who has been dating a man for about 5 years, my junior. He's a great guy, great values, and he's a family man. But here's the problem. He can't afford to buy a ring. I'm not materialistic at all. However, I'm wondering if his inability to purchase a ring is a sign that there will be other financial issues down the line. Since we met, he's lost 2 jobs, his car, his house, all because he's pursuing entrepreneurship, which is currently not thriving. I have a PhD, a great job, home, and I'm doing pretty well for myself. About 3 years ago, I received a huge bonus check, and at that time, he stated whatever comes to either of us, one of us would be proceeding on how we would help buy the ring. I thought that was crazy. I know that he's trying to get on his feet, but it's draining to deal with this for so long. So here we are 3 years later, and he's still working towards purchasing this ring. I've been patient with him and paid his bills and allowed him to use my car and given him gas money. But I'm getting tired of extending my resources. Shaunie B, am I settling for someone who may just be a taker? Or is it a possibility that he's just having a 6-year holdback? Chris, help this anonymous writer.
Well, Miss Anonymous, 3 years is a really long time. I mean, the number 3 is small, but years are not. I don't want to say that you are settling. However, if he wants to get on his feet, you doing all of this for him will never help him get on his feet. You are being his crutch. And if you want to stay with him, I think you need to set some ultimatums or not. I think it might be time to look within yourself and stop kind of looking at him to get his stuff together, because what is it about you that refuses to leave this person if there are so many things he ain't doing that you want?
You got the masters right.
Yes, I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Prince, do you have any advice for this anonymous writer?
My thing is, if there's it does not take 3 years. It don't even take 6 months to understand that this person may or may not be for you. What is such the urgency for the ring?
It can't be no urgency if it's 3 years.
Where it's 3 years.
This whole
I mean, so something in that is clearly missing from the writer, because from what I'm hearing is a whole lot of stuff from her part. But then she seems to be very, in my opinion, because I have a doctor's degree also.
Come on now.
But I don't bring that up when I'm dating someone. So it seems as if you think you're above him. There may be some issues within her as to why he's not wanting to hurry up and try to provide the ring. The other thing is you've got to be careful what you throw away, because sometimes God can always use a treasure in what you consider trash.
Message.
Better receive.
Come on, doctorate degree. Come on now. Devin, slide through it. Do you have some advice for this anonymous writer?
I don't have a master's or a doctorate.
It's okay.
I got a PhD in life, though.
Bingo.
I've been divorced twice, so I'm going to say this. There's so many holes in this letter. First of all, there are so many I's and me's and I's and this is I and I did this. My first question would be, so for 3 years you just watched him struggle? So you just watched him struggle for 3 years so you could point your finger and say you're not doing something right? If you have all of these things, and was there any point in that 3 years that you say, oh, okay, baby, this is the type of business you want? Well, I'll tell you what, you go get this and this permit, and I'm going to put this on this so we can go ahead and start this up for you. Or is he doing it all himself? Is he, because I heard you say he had a car, he had a house, he had a job, he lost all these things going into entrepreneurship. Was this a discussion that you had? Did you know this is what he was going to do? Did you say, well, I will support you in whatever you do? Because sometimes we say what we think the other person wants to hear and we don't really mean it. If you didn't mean that, if you didn't mean that I'm going to have your back, as a business owner, I can tell you things sometimes can go left. Sometimes you have your good days. But you need consistency, whether it's someone who's consistently out or someone who's consistently in. It needs to be consistent. So before you start putting all this pressure on him with he ain't got the ring, he ain't got this, he ain't got that, my question would be, what steps did you make towards him so that he can be that person you want him? There's something that's drawing you to him. You've been there for 3 years. So instead of complaining about it, instead of focusing on what the problem is, how about you focus on the solution? Now, if you focus on that solution and he's just not doing his part, he's not participating, he's not willing to get up and put in the effort, then yeah, that falls on him. But as a woman who's supposedly there for her man, and this is the relationship you want because you've put 3 years in it, my biggest question would be, what steps did you make towards him? Or are you just waiting for him to take all the steps? As a man, you have to be willing to have that drive and go get it and do what you need to do. But when you're with a woman can be your biggest blessing or your biggest downfall. If you have somebody who's on your team and supporting you, they can be the reason you go get it. If you have somebody that's sitting around sucking their teeth, waiting on the ring, looking at their watch, trying to figure out what it is you got going on, it puts unnecessary pressure on you, and it may just drive you to that point where you say, fuck the ring. You can get your own ring.
She just seems very materialistic.
Right. She said she wasn't, but she is.
Yeah. Whenever somebody, just like somebody says, I don't mean to start no mess, here comes
the mess. Right.
I ain't really materialistic.
To go back to the ring, if you're still waiting for a ring 3 years later, well, how much of a value do you think if he does decide to get you the ring? I mean, you're not going to get this. But
show him again.
And I bought that myself, but for my 44th. But you're not going to, why she can't buy her own ring?
But in my opinion, what does the ring have to do with solidifying a relationship?
Yeah.
To be completely and utterly honest, if
Because-
you go backwards, if you think about, rings didn't become popular into the 1920s. So you mean to tell me I gotta buy a ring for you to know that I am all in? I don't like it, but you're not materialistic.
But he's got to be doing something right.
Right, for her to stick around. 6. Yeah, well, it's 3 plus 3 because she said 6. Yeah, you know that when people tend to write to you or explain their situation, they're always going to give you their receipts. A lot of times people don't tell you about the good a person does. They can spit out the bad. So to this sister that's a middle-aged single female, you might continue to be a single middle-aged female because you start out saying you're not materialistic, but we found out about your PhD. Right. We found out about your home. Right. We found out about your big bonus. Right. So all of those things that you're putting before love. So do you really want to be in a relationship is my first question. And then like Devin said, are you building the person that you're to be with? Because when you're in a marriage, it ain't no I in team. So you have to start saying, well, this is your weakness. Let me help and build you up. Because if you had all that money, y'all could have built that entrepreneurship business.
Couple started from nothing.
Right.
Real quick, Shaunie. I'm sure she had her PhD and all this before that.
Right, before.
So if you like Ruth Chris, then don't go to Williams Chicken.
They be greasy sometimes.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a battle a battle that she off the top. Now me, I don't care where you work.
Right.
Just make sure you can take care of your own haircut or whatever. At the end of the day, we'll get through all the other stuff.
We'll mix.
But she just didn't pop up within the 3 years and decide, hey, I'm gonna go get a doctor's degree. She already had that.
Right.
He was already who he was. Option week 1, you had to decide. It don't even take 2 months now.
It don't.
Week 1, you have the decision to say, either I'm gonna stick by this man, or I'm gonna go get me a doctor.
Well, again, ma'am, it like they said, it has to be a reason why you're staying around. It can't be the only thing about a ring. I wear my ring every day, but my ring does not mean that I love my husband anymore. This is just something that lets everybody else know I'm off the market. Stop trying. But no, seriously, stop going into this thinking that you have to have XYZ to be married. All of this stuff is just it's just a security for it, but the whole reason why you're trying to get married is the love that you have for that person. So if you're not going to help build his business or stick around while he's going through this tough time, we all hit these bad times. I know a lot of people that had some repossessions, and I know a lot of people lost their houses. So don't down him. If you're not going to put him in a position to win, then don't be with him at all, because y'all not going to be compatible. Y'all ain't even yoked together. No. So you
some
guys
people like that though, Shaunie. Real quick, some people like that though. They like to have somebody that they feel like they can kind of look down on.
Right, to feel higher.
She wants to control.
Yeah.
Well, she definitely said he was 5 years her junior.
That's true. So it could be a control thing. And sometimes women, I'm sorry, we tend to, or some women tend to look at their position to say,
boy syndrome.
"Oh yeah, you ain't worthy. I'ma use you like this." So yeah, pick and choose your battles. I don't think he's a match. I don't think y'all are a match for each other at all, because you worry about the wrong things.
Let him go.
Let them go. So we have come down to the leg of the end of the show. If you guys have a platform that you want to shout out, or how people can keep up with you, feel free to. Other than that, I'll spin it back to myself at the end. Chris, you got any words for the people?
Hey man, just be yourself. I am not generally on social media other than Facebook. You can catch me at Chris Elijah. That's Chris with a K. But other than that, be true to yourself, and I promise the rest will come.
Come through now. La Prince.
Oh God. God bless all of you guys for following me and continuing. Of course, the main page is LaPrince Devereaux Cartier. Instagram, Dr. Chad C. Logan. We're not going to go into the snap, but
Well, you nasty.
no, my snap is innocent. It don't go down in that DM. Okay. For one, I'm just now learning how to use it. Hey,
It's okay. It's okay.
it don't go.
Prince.
But no, it don't go down in that DM. But no, people can follow me. Shout out to all the directors, Gabriel Dallas, Tantamount, all the movies. Love you guys. Just work on ourselves, and then everything else will fall in line, like Chris said.
Thank you. Devin.
That's it. Facebook is Devin Johnson. You can catch me on Instagram. It's _fantasies. I am taking holiday orders. So
What is your business? Because you just
I'm a catering company.
come on through. You should buy some chicken.
I should have.
That was real black of me. Should just pick chicken.
But I'm actually making some. I will be at the Puff and Paint party. We start seeing a little bit. I'm cooking out there for that in the after party. Shout out to Ace. It's that, and we have that and the after party. It's 5 to 9 for the Puff and Paint, and then 9:30 to 2 for the after party. And it's all in the same spot, so I'll be cooking there.
Okay.
Man, just love is it. Stay out of people's business, man. If it don't have nothing to do with you, like, just stay out of people's business. Somebody come to you with some gossip, some messages, be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not in people's business no more. I got something else I got going on.
I gotta get these bags.
Yeah, I'm saying, man, leave people alone. Let people live. Just let people live.
Right. Well, again, I thank you guys for coming out, opening up to me so I can understand. For those of you that tuned in, I hope you learned something. Like they said, it's all about respect. And if you trust what your sexuality is, you shouldn't be offended or affected by anybody else's. So make sure you catch me on Shaunie's World. I'll be somewhere in my car tomorrow. Facebook, that's Shaunie BENT. Catch me on YouTube. Subscribe to that channel. That's Shaunie B Entertainment. Instagram, it don't go down in my DMs, but it's Shaunie_B_entertainment. Of course, you're going to catch me here at KMWI-Media on Sundays. My next show, I believe, is on the 10th of November, so catch me. We have some shows throughout the week. Y'all make sure y'all tune in to the website and see when they air. But I'm out this piece, y'all. Y'all be blessed, and hey, you'll catch me on the flip side. Peace.
to Shaunie's world. It's your girl, Shaunie.